In this video, I'm going to give you some of the health check checklist questions that we use here at Best Practice and that you guys can use in your organization to help your team achieve your success. This builds on the live streaming that we did 2 weeks ago, where I talked about some of those key areas of priority and managing priorities for you guys in your organization. I'll go through, I've got that thing here, so a bit of summary here in the studio that we can go through. You may remember this one here where we talked about ABCs. Let me move that for you so you can see it. That one where we talked about helping with priorities, we talked about the A, B, C, D, E, which is the must-dos, the should-dos, and the nice-to-dos. So that is something that I want you to be thinking about as we talk about stuff here in this session today. I'm going to go through a checklist to help you guys to understand how you can help your team move forward. We're going to go through that other checklist that I just put up, but the A, B, C, D, I want you to remember that. So remember that when we're focusing on things and you're managing your own personal priorities, you can talk to your team about that. And you can say, okay, team, for this month, in thinking about this month, in thinking about the next 3 months, building on what we talked about yesterday in the live stream, in thinking about the next 3 months, in thinking about the end of 2020, the finish of 2020, what are the must-dos? What are the should-dos and what are the nice-to-dos? Make sure we get our must-dos done, and then we can celebrate those achievements. We can celebrate those elements to achieve those outcomes and achieve those goals for the team. So we'll keep that aside for a moment so you guys can remember that. What I wanted to talk to you about this morning, and before we get into that, you guys can let us know. I think we've got an issue there on LinkedIn maybe. You guys can let us know where you're watching from. It's always helpful to me to know where you guys are watching from, what's happening, where everybody is around the world. Looks like we've refreshed LinkedIn. We're good to go there. I've got my dashboard so I can see the LinkedIn comments. Let me know where you are watching from. We're also recording the audio. That's what this microphone's for. This microphone's for our podcast so that you guys can come back to the Kobe Simmet audio experience on your favorite podcast platform and listen while you're commuting, or you might be doing the ironing or the washing or cleaning the house, because I know a lot of people aren't commuting these days because a lot of people are in lockdown. So let me know where you are watching from. That really helps me a lot. So I think I can see the YouTube comments. So for those of you guys watching on YouTube, let me know you're watching. Hit the like button. Hit me with the comments there so I can see what's happening on YouTube. So I've got YouTube and I've got LinkedIn there right now in front of me. So that's really helpful. Hello, Luke. You're right here in the studio. So okay, our comments are working. What I wanted to do, it looks like we've got an issue with the LinkedIn browser. Maybe that's us, is it? Okay, fine. So LinkedIn's still working. What I wanted to do is really talk about focus and think about like deadlines and setting achievements, and then fun in terms of how your team can move through this next quarter. We've come up with this checklist here. And so really what this is talking about is, we can start to, I don't know if we can, are you able to zoom in on that or not? See if Luke can move in and zoom in for us. He's just going to try and get a bit of a tighter picture for you guys. I've got Luke here in the studio. I've got Josie, work experience student, helping us. A bunch of people obviously helping across there in the marketing team as well. Apologise for the background. Hey Andrew, thanks for joining us. Watching from Sydney. So on LinkedIn and Melbourne. There, g'day to Ben from Melbourne. Thanks for joining us. So if you have got questions, here we go. That's perfect, Luke. That's excellent. Absolutely spot on. So apologise for the focus. We'll see if we can fix that for you. Looks like it's working. Okay, good. So what I've got here for you guys is this checklist that we've been working on, which is, you can start to think about how do we manage our team. So our team members understand each other's differences, priorities, and styles. So you can think about, rate yourself, score of 0 to 10, team members understanding each other's differences, priorities, and styles. Team members are meeting weekly for strategic brainstorming. So when you think about the small pods or groups or teams, Flight Centre was a really successful business model with small teams of 5 or 6 or 7 people. And if that team can meet weekly for strategic brainstorming, then you guys can get together, you can do that strategic thinking about, hey, what are our goals? So remember, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? Then when meeting weekly to be pushing ourselves towards that goal and staying focused on that goal. The third one, so you can, with each of these things, rate yourself on a score of 0 to 10, and then you can think about, this is like a gap analysis for your team in terms of getting good productivity and good results out of your team. The team participates in ongoing monthly training. We do monthly training here at Best Practice. It was last week. It's the last Monday of every month. We get everybody together for a Monday for the whole day, where we can go through and help people, with different areas of professional development from a team perspective. I personally do regular reading. It's daily reading. There are lots of examples like Mark Cuban, who's quite active on LinkedIn. He talks about reading for 3 hours every single day. And I can honestly guarantee that if you do that daily reading and that daily professional development in a wide range of topics, then it's really going to help you with your career, particularly over the next 12 months, because they are going to be challenging. Team debates are constructive and comfortable. So it's about, yes, we want to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but we want to have productive team debates so we can say, hey, are we all in alignment with the goal? And what can we do to, keep revisiting that? So we get together in this weekly meeting, and we can have a honest, robust team debate. And then a quarterly theme and reward is announced. So we start thinking about, obviously we've got our team. In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? In thinking about the last 12 weeks, what went wrong and what are we doing about that? This is all about focusing that plan. Who's doing things? What are they doing? When are they doing it? How are they doing it? And you guys can get together and you can meet weekly. So you want to think about that. We want to get some consistency to that. And that is one of the things that I focus on a lot, is like have the 10 o'clock, every Wednesday morning we have a 9 o'clock marketing meeting, rain, hail or shine, goes ahead every single week. I'm in a different marketing meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock for a different business, for the Black Lab business next door. And so we get together and it's making sure that runs. I go into a monthly sales meeting. I go into monthly board meetings. It's making sure that those meetings are set and you stick to them and that they run all of the time and they run on time. So you want to rate yourself from a 0 to 10 on the consistency of that so that you can get into cadence, you can have a healthy agenda, people turn up early or at least on time. And that's one of the things that I found, that to get to a good successful level in the organisation is actually encouraging people to be A players and get on board with that, and holding people accountable. Say, actually, we need to get value out of this meeting, we need to get value out of this session, and that's all you need to do from a team's perspective, is meeting weekly with a consistent agenda. That's definitely something we can help with if you need help with what that agenda is. And then set it for 30 minutes. It's about getting together 30 minutes, staying on the same page, focusing on our goal, and then starting to track your process. So that's how we're going to bring focus, I guess, is the first thing. Now, this bit down the bottom here is where we're starting to introduce fun. So we're starting to talk about, okay, what's going to be the quarterly theme, or what's a reward for the team in terms of what is that goal that if the organisation's trying to hit a revenue goal or a profit goal or a specific project target, well, how's the team going to be rewarded and celebrate? How are you going to celebrate? And that's something that, the traditional celebrations and traditional awards have been a struggle for many companies through this COVID-19 crisis. People working from home, not achieving financial numbers, but what could be the reward? Maybe it's going to be everybody gets together on Zoom for a chat, or maybe a small, gift or a gesture of appreciation gets sent out to everybody. What I focus on here at Best Practice is I focus on everybody's love language. So I focus on the 5 love languages, and I make sure that to show my gratitude, I'm expressing my gratitude to each person in their love language. And if you know anything about the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, and the book was here, I think it ended up, it was here in the studio the other day. I think it ended up probably back on the shelf. There they are, that's it, the blue one. That one, that's it. So the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. It's a relationship book, and it's about relationships. And there's the workplace one, the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. If you can't use some of those, traditional, have a party, have a celebration, send out gifts, you can make sure every day, and it's really easy to be a great leader and to be focusing on knowing what everybody's love language is and showing your gratitude and giving your thanks in their specific love language, whether it is physically a pat on the back, whether it is a compliment, whether it is small act of service. focusing on appreciation and making sure as the leader and the manager of the team that you're focusing on those things for people. That's really, it costs you nothing to be a great leader and give people the love language that they desire here at work. So that's a great book, and it's a textbook for me. Both these, the original, this is the original version, which is quirky. It's for relationships, but I use it with our team members, and there's the workplace version there. So if this is politically incorrect, then use this one. Okay. So thank you, Luke. Okay, so just to go back over team before I move on to the next one, let me know in the comments, I've lost my dashboard, Luke. Let me know in the comments, how's this working out for you in terms of, is this useful? Have you got any comments? Have you got any questions? Okay, I can see LinkedIn now and I can see YouTube. So is this something that you guys could use? Is it helpful, yes or no? Because we really want to think about getting high performance out of our team members. And for those of you that follow us because of some of the management system stuff we do, this is the people side. This is the soft skills side of having good results out of your organisation, particularly as we move into this challenging period of the end of 2020 and through into 2021, where we've really got to be focusing on either helping organisations that are failing, helping organisations that have sort of plateaued, and also helping organisations that are really starting to scale and help them get a bit more organised. Okay, the next one. So the first one was team. We talked about focus, finish lines and fun. I want to talk about some finish lines for a moment. So when we talk about finish lines, one of the most common mistakes that I see in organisations is I don't see the finish lines clearly defined. And that's why you hear me constantly campaigning. In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? We've got the most critical number for the team is being tracked for the quarter. What is the most critical number for the team? What is the objective of the team? What's the target? And when you look at the traditional best practice logo, it's a performance over time. It's that performance over time graph, that goes like this. That's the best practice logo, and it's starting to say, okay, what is the most critical number and what's our target? And it is important to be setting targets that are realistic and achievable, because we want to celebrate, the ability of positive reinforcement, and we want to celebrate that we've achieved targets, so we can say this is what we planned to do and we did it. So we say the most critical number for the team is being tracked for the quarter. Rate yourself on a score of 0 to 10 for you right now in your organisation, in your team, in what you're doing for work right now. Do you have a clear picture of your organisation's performance? Do you have a clear picture of your performance? What's your goal? What's that most important number? What's the must-do number for you for between now and Christmas? And are you looking at that regularly? And are you adjusting what you're doing? And have you done things already today that are focused on that number? Or have you been distracted and you're doing the nice to-dos? Did you start your day by looking at your emails and filing your emails? Or did you start your day with the big uncomfortable thing that needed to be done to get you towards that number? My big uncomfortable thing I did this morning on an improvement of my health and fitness was an 8.5 kilometre walk/run up and down hills this morning. And my legs are killing me. But that was my must do. That was my must do this morning for my target in thinking about 12 weeks with my health and fitness. What does success look like? That's what I did this morning. I checked in on our financial reports. I checked in on our sales results. Then I can start to do things. I don't check my email until 9 o'clock at night. Caitlin, my executive assistant, watches my email through the day, brings anything to my attention that I need via a text message. Then I check my emails at 9 o'clock at night. It's the nice to do. I've delegated it. It's the nice to do or the delegate. And so I want you to think about that when we talk about that stuff. I'll bring that into shot for you. So when we think about the must do, the should do, and the nice to do. Not close enough? Okay, it's all right. Leave it there. It's all good. We'll bring it back. Okay, pop it down here for a minute. Okay, so we want to bring that number and that dashboard to attention. 3 team priorities. Projects are identified for the quarter. So 3 priorities. In some people call these rocks, or you call them projects. Our 3 team priorities for the quarter are identified. And that's something that you can say, well, yes, you've got your key numbers or you've got your key dashboard. What are the key things that you're working on to really push the organisation, push your team forward? And are we tracking that? If you've got more than 3 projects or 3 things going on, or there's random new things being introduced every week, you're not going to get success. I guarantee it. I've tried it, doesn't work. And so what I want you to focus on is when you get together quarterly in your quarterly strategic planning session and you say, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? Boiling that down and prioritizing, starting to choose priorities of what's the must do, what's the should do, and what's the nice to do. Those must do things that are going to help your organization go forward. In things that could go wrong, they're must to do's. In things that went wrong, they're must to do's. In thinking about your financial performance, your getting more revenue, getting more customers, getting more profitability, those are must to do's, because without that, you have financial fatality events for the organization. And then from an incidents and an OH&S and an accidents and a risk perspective, what are those must to do's? What are those show-stopping things that are going to stop the organization? Not business as imagined, not this big long-winded list of things, but the key things based on the work that you're doing, the customers you're working with, the venues you're going to, the sites you're visiting, the people you're working with, the services you're selling. That's part of that process. Okay, the weekly key number progress report is posted, and you're tracking on a weekly basis. Can you just check that screenshot for me there, Luke? Okay, it's all good? Okay. So what we've got there is we've got a weekly key number progress report. It's posted. Here at Best Practice, we have an intranet site, and what we basically show on our intranet site is our monthly performance, and we're constantly tracking that. We're tracking that performance so people can see what's going on. Hello, Barbara, once again. Okay, perfect. I'm happy to help, Barbara. No problems at all. I'm glad I can make you think. And yes, I've got lots of book recommendations. I counted, I've got 50 new books sitting on my desk over here in the office to add to our library of 400. So there's lots more coming. I'll only give you the recommendations for the really good ones, but there's lots coming down the chute. Emily's scheduling lots of Instagram posts this morning and putting some stuff together with lots of the great stuff we've been doing. So there's lots more coming. But we want to make sure that front and center that, so that we can when we meet and have that team meeting, we're starting to talk about our performance, we're starting to talk about what we're doing, we get together. So my executive meeting is this afternoon, where we get to our executive managers team, we get together weekly, and we can sit and talk about how we're tracking. That number's front and center. Okay, last one. We're going for time. The last one is all about fun. So focus, finish lines, and fun. And I have to admit that I haven't paid much attention to this over the last 16 years in business, and it's something that I'm now starting to realize is important, and I've left it out. And I think this is an area where, because I didn't pay attention to it, it's held us back. As a business, it's held us back. Because I get a huge kick out of just working, and I get just out of the process of the grind and the hustle and the day-to-day basis. But what I've started to realize is that as your organization grows and as your team gets better, some of these elements are important for the A players that you will attract as your organization grows, as your team grows, and as you get further down your professional journey. And the first one there is congratulations, public congratulations and public acknowledgement of performance and rewarding behaviors. So the kinds of positive behaviors, the kinds of behaviors that you want continued, and you want to continue to be progressed and implemented in your organization, the public acknowledgement of that. And so when you have that monthly training session or that monthly meeting that you're having, public acknowledgement of those behaviors and the values and alignment with the values you've got for your organization is really important, because people see that being publicly acknowledged, and people like to get some congratulations and some public acknowledgement. And so that's really important. The next one is rewards. Starting to think about what, not necessarily the monetary rewards, because particularly with most, financial systems and payment systems and payroll systems now, that's well covered in terms of people earning their base salaries. But what do the rewards look like? What are the little fun awards? So we've come up with the Super Mario Award. Congratulations to Abe Chikawi for helping us to implement that here at Best Practice. And it's starting to realize that people like to get a little bit of that recognition. So what's that reward going to be? We had a small little reward for last month for our sales target. We're going to go back and do the analysis on our sales target for last month and see whether we hit that number. And then we were going to do a dinner voucher for everybody. So that's the reward for last month. We haven't come up with one for this month for that particular team yet. Celebrations. difficult to do celebrations, but it's certainly something that I've always looked forward to, our festive dinner or lunch or party at the end of the year for best practice. Now with COVID, that's difficult to do because all of our states are locked down here in Australia and we can't move our national people around, but it's definitely something that I look forward to, and so I've probably not given as much credit to that, and it's probably something we've got to be thinking about doing more than once a year. It probably needs to be not monthly, but it needs to maybe be quarterly in terms of celebrating. We do celebrate people's birthdays, we celebrate achievements, we have a Facebook group here at Best Practice where we do celebrate little things, but we need to lift that, and that lifts the momentum, it lifts the positivity, it lifts the culture. And it's something that I haven't done enough of over the years, and we're starting to do more, and I'm seeing the results. And so I'm saying, okay, I see the results, let's do more of it. The power of positive reinforcement. Some of you may have seen Scupper, the new studio dog or the office dog, the little poodle that my family got through the COVID crisis. It's reminded me again how important positive reinforcement is and how much the dog really likes a little bit of fun. If the dog gets a smack or a whack, it's just going to scour away. But if it gets positive reinforcement, it leans into the relationship. It gets loving and pats and cuddles and playtime. People like playtime, and humans like playtime. Animals like playtime because it creates dopamine. It's not creating adrenaline. And so we don't want to create cortisol or adrenaline in people. We want to create dopamine, and we want to create those happy chemicals inside people's bodies, and positive reinforcement does that, and that builds momentum in your organisation. Now, as somebody who's traditionally a hard worker who just puts my head down and goes, and I have sometimes my thinking facial expression might look like an angry facial expression because I've got quite an expressive face. Those are the kinds of things that everyone's giving a bit of a chuckle. Those are the things that we need to think about, is where do you sit on a scale of 0 to 10 for giving your team positive reinforcement and individual members of your team positive reinforcement, so you can elicit those happy chemicals like dopamine, for example. So you want to be steering away from cortisol and adrenaline, and you want to be eliciting dopamine as an example. I've got this little statement here, which is a quote out of a book that we've been talking about, Scaling Up, which is, we said we would do it and we did. So it's saying, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? Let's do it. Let's hit that goal. And then being achievable and realistic with that goal, but then saying, let's go do it. And then having that celebration, saying, we said we would do this. Wow, look at us go. We did it. Now, as an entrepreneur, you've got a tendency to keep wanting to set stretch goals, but we really want to be able to give people the opportunity to say, well, what's the goal we're chasing? And then we want to get some recognition when we achieve that goal. And that's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. And ultimately, the goal of this is to bring out the best in people. So rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. Are you bringing out the best in your team members? Are you bringing out the best in your people? Is the systems and process and work and all the things that you're doing, all the must-dos and the should-dos and the nice-to-dos? I probably said that, some of these things, I put them in the nice-to-do list, but they're actually in the must-do. Congratulations, awards and celebrations. I used to put them down in the nice-to-do category. They're actually, for me, they probably should sit in the should-do or the must-do category. And that's certainly something where I've seen that has held us back. And now we're going forward much, much faster. The organisation's doing much, much better as we're starting to respect and acknowledge those things and see that they're actually really important tasks. Okay, so let's do a bit of summary. Has this been helpful for you guys that are live with us on LinkedIn? I can see a few people live on LinkedIn and a few people live on YouTube. Hit that like button if this has been helpful. I can see a couple of dozen people there across the couple of platforms. Let me know, where you're watching from. Only a couple of people commented there. I've just lost my dashboard again. There we go, thank you. So yeah, hit that like button. Is this helping you? Is this something that's been useful? I'll go back over them for you. Okay, it's a bit of a checklist. Starts with the team members. So team members, so rating yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. Team members understanding each other's differences, priorities and styles. Team meets weekly for strategic brainstorming sessions. Team participates in an ongoing monthly training session. Team debates are constructive and comfortable, and a quarterly theme and reward is announced. That's the first one. Finish lines. The most critical number for the team is being tracked for the quarter and everyone can see it. 3 team priorities or projects are identified for the quarter. Only 3, no more. Maybe 3, maybe 5, absolute maximum of 5 projects. 5 really important things that the team's working on. Otherwise, people can't handle their priorities. and the weekly key number progress report, so a dashboard, so people can see how they're performing and they can get a gauge. It's like the speedo in your car when you're driving. How fast am I going? It's really difficult to drive and not get a speeding ticket. You're sort of gauging off other traffic, so you need a calibrated speedo there sitting in front of you. You need the dashboard, and so a weekly key number progress report posted, so people can actually see. We can increase our energy, increase our motivation, work a little bit harder to hit that goal, so people can actually see their progress towards that, and they can see it's reachable, they can see it's achievable. As the month progresses, get close to the end of the month, actually we can see momentum building, we can see it, we're going to hit it, we're going to get close, we're going to get really close. Wow, we've achieved it, and we've achieved it a couple of days early, and then people will actually overrun and they'll overachieve. I've made the mistake too many times in my career of setting really high targets that are just completely unachievable, because that's how I work. And I've realized that for most people, they need achievable targets and realistic targets, and then you can keep tweaking them. Give them 5% increase or 7% increase per month, but you've got to start at an achievable point and say, right, let's build it a little bit more, and it takes time. The human body takes time to grow. The muscles take time to grow. The processes take time to grow. The organizations take time to grow. And that's the biggest mistake I've made in my career, is actually thinking about, what do I do? My targets are way too high, way too big, way too aspirational. And everybody gets like a tenth of the way through the month and goes, there's no way we're going to achieve this. So they give up. And so it actually is counterintuitive and counterproductive. So you've got to have people, seeing that they can achieve that goal, seeing what they achieved last month, and then slowly improving and slowly building momentum. I'm thinking about one specific business where it's a problem right now, where I'm trying to work on strategies to actually, scale back where their goals are at, so that we can give the people opportunity to grow. Okay, and then obviously fun. So the last one is rating yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 as a leader, as a manager, as someone in business, about congratulations and how often you do that congratulations. I haven't given it credit, and it's something that we're going to improve on here at Best Practice. Rewards, celebrations, and positive reinforcement. I think we're good at positive reinforcement. I'd probably give us a 6 or a 7 at positive reinforcement. And then we said we would do it, and we did it. That's something that we've got to start working on here at Best Practice. Okay. Hello, Alexi. Good to chat to you this morning. Where do you see organizations making the most common repeated mistakes? It's definitely entrepreneurial organizations, maybe in the small to medium space. I see them making the biggest mistakes in terms of setting lofty goals, because they want to boil the ocean, they want to take over the world, they want to put a dent in the universe. I get that, but for most of you guys in the team, you're like, no, just show me what we did. Like you see Alexi every Wednesday, we set those goals and we make it achievable. We say, okay, let's have a little 5 or a 10% uplift. But it's really important that we don't say, actually, we're a soccer team, we're playing together, and we're going to go and win the World Cup. There's there's no chance in winning the World Cup, but you've got a delusional leader at the front that says, we're going to go win the World Cup. It's like, yeah, well, that's going to take time. It's going to take time to build the players, build the campaign, build the fitness, build the muscles, build the strength, build the skills, build the speed, build all the things to be a competitive team in the World Cup, and a lot of work. And a lot of people, when you're talking about working with smart people, they know that. And so what you wanted to be doing is saying, okay, let's set ourselves a goal on winning the local competition. Then let's set ourselves on winning the regional competition, then the state competition, then the national competition. Then we can go from the national competition to the world competition. And so you can see how it's building. And that's probably the biggest mistake. And then I think the other thing is that we have a lot of leaders who are not intentionally, but they're more like bullies. And so they're bullying their staff, and they're saying, if you don't fucking do your job, then I'm going to fire you. That is not the way to be leading a team. The best way to be leading a team, I've tried it, it doesn't work, by the way. I've made those mistakes. I've made those mistakes early in my career. Although that's not my tendency to be like that, I have been like that, it doesn't work. And so from a leadership and a management perspective with those people around you, it's about the power of positive reinforcement. It's parties. You go to a really exciting party and it's a good vibe and you're having fun and everybody's getting momentum and it's great. So people like that. And if you can create that uplifting atmosphere in an organization, you're going to get better performance. And the people that don't like it are going to leave. And as you can notice with Best Practice recently, we've had some staff turnover because we are starting to get some momentum, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be part of the journey that we're on here at Best Practice, but we're being really clear in our vision, we're being really clear on our mission, we're constantly campaigning it, and the people that are here buy into that vision and mission. And so I think the second, the third mistake is probably not having a clear vision and mission, and that is where people, they're like, oh, I'm not quite sure what we're here to do. What's my job? What's the plan? And so that'd be the third reason, I guess, in terms of the most common mistakes would be not having a clear plan, clearly defined. Here at Best Practice, we're inspired to, we're motivated to be helping inspire improvement in 100 million companies. That's our mission. It's the best practice growth mission, the business improvement mission, helping with people, helping with data, helping with process. That's our mission. And so I think that's probably, amongst the mistakes, they'd be the common ones. I hope that helps. Okay, good morning, Carl. Hello from Sydney. So I didn't want to make this too long. We're around about the 30-minute mark. I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate everybody coming online. If you want more of this information, I said I would do 2 days out of Scaling Up this week. This is what we are working on implementing here at Best Practice as a bit of a health check, a team health check. And it fits into if you're really trying to work out where this all fits, the audience that we have and you guys are watching, a lot of you have come to us because of system and process and ISO 9001 and quality assurance. It's great to get the processes right and get the cookbook right for the kitchen. If you think about a commercial kitchen, policy and process and procedure, that's the cookbooks. They sit on the shelf in the corner, but we've got to get the ingredients right. We've got to get the process right. We've got to get the people happy and motivated, having fun, working together and getting vibe and getting culture and getting those exciting, energetic things happening in the organization to help lift the organization and get improvement and get that team having a lot of fun playing together. It is a team approach. Okay, so if this has been really informative and it's helped you guys, hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please hit that like button. Down the bottom of LinkedIn there, you've got your blue like, you've got your green congratulations and clapping. You've got your love hearts and your light bulbs. For those of you guys following us on LinkedIn right now, hit some of those buttons there. That'd really be really helpful. And if you guys are watching there on YouTube, hit that like button. And if I've covered something that you think is relevant for a leader in your organization, if you think it's relevant sharing for your organization, then please do me a favor and capture that share button. If you're on LinkedIn, you can type in anyone in your organization who needs to hear this, just type in their comments. That'd be always really helpful for me. And if you're watching there on YouTube, David, you're very welcome. Always happy to help. On YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that share button and you can copy that link. You can email it to your team, get them watching. I think this is a great way to boost productivity in your team. At the very least, have a conversation this week about how you can improve your team goal, your team rewards, your team celebrations, your team focus on the most important must-do goals between now and the end of 2020. I can't believe 2020 has gone so quickly. It's been an absolutely hectic year. I know there's been some really sad times for some people, but we can lift. These are the processes. That's what I want to show you guys. These are the things to focus on to help you grow out of the end of 2020 and get started with a productive 2021. Okay, so if you don't see me out and about, you will definitely see me right here next week on Best Practice. Sayed, more than happy to help. No problems at all. Thank you very much for your comment there on LinkedIn. So if you want to hear the audio of this, Luke has been recording it. He'll post it up on the Kobe Simmet Audio Experience. More Kobe Simmet Audio Experience podcasts coming your way. So if you could help Luke achieve his goal this week, which is to get to 3,000 listens by jumping on the Kobe Simmet Audio Experience and checking out our podcast and having a listen to some of the episodes that we've recorded there for you and listed on the Kobe Simmet Audio Experience. And if you've got any feedback for me on what I can do to improve, if there's any information that you want me to cover, and more importantly, any questions. So we're going to be live again next week. Same time next week, same 2 time slots next week. If you've got any question about organizational development, improvement, data, performance improvement, strategic planning, marketing strategy, social media strategy, sales and selling, any of that kind of stuff, human data, people data, job fit analysis, all that stuff that wraps itself up around organizational improvement, let me know in the comments on this video. Happy to cover your questions next week in our live streams. That's what they're for. Much easier for me to do live streams when you guys ask me questions. Okay, are there any further questions? Doesn't look like it at this stage. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you don't see me out and about through the week, you will definitely see me right here next time on best